Good morning. Why? Okay. Okay. Good morning, goddesses. I'm Ashley, and this morning I'm excited to speak about the 5D reality and ancient yogic wisdom that supports this kind of new age theory. So, probably many of you have heard about the 5D reality. If you're here, give me a shout out. Let me know you're with me. Um, so you probably have heard, hi Rachel, good to see you. Um, 5D reality. So I guess, it's kind of vague what this is. And if you guys have any ideas of what do you think the 5D reality means? Write to me. Let me know what you already think, or if you have no idea. Or if it's just this concept of okay, the revolution, or okay, ascension. Are we shifting actually the way that we live? Does Corona have anything to do with the 5D reality? So it's kind of vague, and also these ideas about the new Earth. So I really sat with myself deeply to think about what does this all mean, and how can I relate to this? How can this be a real thing? And so I'll just explain kind of what brought me here. Hey, Tara. I grew up in society like everybody else, in our kind of Western world. With a clear plan to be smart, to go to school, to get a degree, to take out loans, and then to get a good job to pay off those loans. Okay? And this is based on the 3D reality. This is based on limitations that are put on us by society that make us feel that we need to be a certain way in order to be successful, or to be proper members of society. And this is the old way of thinking. This is kind of the result of living in the 3D reality. And so for me, in my journey, the move into the 5D reality is to move into heart consciousness, is to move into what do I really want in this world, in this life, and how can I really align myself to what I want and live that. And it's that simple. Okay, it's really that simple. Because really, in the core of our beings, and I'm going to get to this, I'll explain, but in the core of our beings, all of us just want happiness, connection, love, joy, excitement. That is all we want in the core of our being. Okay, so it's like in the 3D reality, the consciousness about the core of our being has been lost. And the 5D reality is going deeper within the self to tap into what we really want and living from that place. Okay, so in simplicity, that is my definition of the 5D. I'm a yoga teacher. I run yoga teacher trainings for many years now, a few years now. And one of the things that I do in my spare time is practice lots of yoga and research and study yoga, the ancient mystic wisdom that has been passed down to us from yoga. If you're here, let me know what you think about 5D, what it is. Rachel wrote, I think it's a shift for sure. I think there are many of us waking up to this at the moment. Yeah, lots of people are waking up at the moment. And so we're going to dive in now. What does that mean from the context of ancient yogic wisdom, and how the 5D reality is actually something that we can sense within ourselves. Okay, so I want to show you. So let's just take a moment. Let's take a moment to breathe. So I invite you to take a seat and just sit up tall and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths into your heart. Bring your attention into your heart center. Just tapping in for a moment to the quiet of your presence. Tapping in for a moment to that deep knowing of something deeper. That intuition that you have, that there's better ways to live. That deep understanding that's within you already of what is the best way for you to live as an individual. That can then fractal out into better living for the collective. Just take this moment, another breath or two, just to feel the impact that when you live in an aligned place, that radiates from you, that allows you to be an example for others to live from their deeper place. And when you're ready, you can wiggle your fingers and open your eyes. Hi, Katya. Ariadna said, is there a connection between 5D and 5G? Maybe. I could talk about that at the end. Okay, so according to Yogic Wisdom from the Vedas, the ancient scriptures of India, before Hinduism, before any religion or belief system, they wrote their experiences. These mystics went to something called forest schools, where they studied the nature of human reality. Okay, they sat in the forest for days and weeks and months and years to understand more about the innate nature of the human reality. Now, they understood that we're flip-flopping the polarity between pleasure and suffering. Pleasure and suffering. This is the constant story that we're all in. We're suffering to catch pleasure, and we find ourselves more often than not in suffering. And so one of their big goals was to understand how to get beyond that. And so when they looked within, after a while, they were able to enter deep meditative states where they experienced something beyond the dual nature of reality. And this is how yoga was born. This is how meditation was born. They understood that, yes, there's this physical world, but there's also a presence that's beyond that, that we can dwell in and not take life so seriously from that place. Okay, that's my summary of it. So one of the tools in which they look at this understanding is the Koshas. So it's the 5 dimensions, or the sheaths of the soul. Okay, so they understood that there's 5 layers of human, of each human. There's 5 layers of the soul. Okay, so I'll show you some pictures, and it's actually really interesting. If you look it up on Google, Koshas, Koshas, some of them have the physical being the most outward, and then like the bliss body being the most inward, and some of them have the opposite. So this is the Koshas, if you can see it. Basically the layers of the soul, and I'm going to talk about that right now. So the first layer is the physical body. It's anything that's going on in your physical body. Your bones, your muscles, your face, it's other people, it's kind of gardens and sky and trees, you know, those things. Okay, so that's the physical layer. The energetic layer is the second one, like the physiological layer. So you could have a body, but if the heart's not beating, you're not alive. Okay, so that's the second layer. Physical, and then physiological or energetic. So whatever makes you breathe, whatever makes your heart beat, whatever moves the atoms that are vibrating, that force that's moving everything. Okay, that's the second layer. The third layer, the Manomaya Kosha, this is the mind and the emotions. So thoughts create emotions, which then create our reality. So that's like another layer. As we go more inward, we get more subtle and we see the mind. Okay, the mind, emotions, energetic, physical. Now, most of us in our society, like I mentioned in the beginning, we live from these 3, right? We grow up saying that we need to have a degree, you know, that you need to like do this and this and this to be a member of society. It's operating from those 3 layers only. But what I'm so excited to talk about and to like really ground this idea of the 5D is to talk about the two next layers. Okay? So the fourth layer is called the Vijnanamaya Kosha. And this is the place of pure inspiration, of pure creativity. That place that you feel like, you know, you're in the shower maybe, and you have a moment where you're not quite like paying attention, and then all of a sudden like a genius idea comes through, and you feel so inspired and so excited. This is you tapping into the Vijnanamaya Kosha, the layer that is direct channel from source energy that's translating to you, to the human, to your language, to your biology. So the more we can spend in that place, the more tapped into our true desires we are, the more we're tapped into our excitement, our joy, our love, our gifts of what we have to bring to this world. And that's the key here, you guys. Like, each one of us has an incredible, unique gift to bring to the world. We're not robots. We're not supposed to like do paperwork all day. That's not what we're supposed to do. So by tapping into that layer and getting those bursts of inspiration, you are going to live your purpose more easily. You're going to feel more fulfilled in your life because you're channeling from source. And that's where we get to people that channel angels and guides and, you know, Abraham Hicks, law of attraction, like all this wisdom that comes through. It comes through. It's not from your mind. It's not from your biology. It's from something deeper than that. So this is the fourth layer. Okay? The fifth layer is pure bliss. It's that space that is truly beyond dualism, beyond the polarities of this universe. It's truly a place of deep rest of your soul, of pure expansion and connection. It's that place where we know that we are so connected to everything. And if we would tap into that as individuals, we would solve war. We would solve hate, discrimination, racism. It's up to us as individuals to take that back, to go into our own 5-dimensional reality. Okay? And you can do this through meditation. So a regular meditation practice, I can't express to you how important it is. Ladies, let's get meditating. Like, that's why we put a lot of meditations and those type of things on this Empowered Life session, because we've seen how much it shifts our ability to show up for ourselves in the world. I'm just going to read some comments. Rachel, thank you. Kim, thank you for sharing such ancient wisdom. Oh, you're so welcome. Maureen, beautiful. I've been amazing channeling experiences with light beings since the lockdown begun. So Corona does have to do with entering into the 5D, because really when our lives are full of distraction, when we're so busy all the time, we don't, the bliss, the Vijnana and the Anandamaya Kosha can't come through. That's why meditating is so important, and that's why like making space, making more space, not feeling like you need to go, do. Like, you are safe. You are taken care of. Everything is okay. Even if you die, you're gonna be okay. So let's not live from fear, because fear is in the 3D. Living from trust, living from let go, that's the 5D. Okay, so I just want to say 2 more things. So one about the heart and one about 5D, 5G. And if you have any more questions, please write them. The heart is the dwelling place of the 5th dimension, of the higher self. So when your heart is an exact mirror of your higher self. Whatever you feel in your heart is truly what you want and what you need. Okay, so when we live from a heart consciousness, we're able to then make what's around us in this physical reality a direct reflection of our higher self. Because what's happening is that what's going on around us is a direct reflection of us. It's a direct reflection of our three-dimensional self, usually. Okay? The heart is a reflection of the fifth dimensional self. The more we're able to get in that space of bliss, of inspiration, the more we're able to clear out the mental clutter and like physical ailments, which comes with yoga, which comes with eating well. Like I could teach a course on this. It's so limitless. I do teach a course on this. So when you're able to live from that place of bliss and inspiration, then your physical reality will be a reflection of that. Okay, so just know that everything you're experiencing is a reflection of your reality, of your emotional states, of your inspiration, of your habits and thoughts. So the more you clean up, the more you meditate, the more you tap in, then the reality around you will start to reflect that. Okay? We're not trapped like we think, like we're not as trapped as we think we are. We're actually really free. And the moment that we as individuals take back that power to tap in and to just fade out those things that just don't feel relevant, that don't feel aligned, then we begin to change our world. And if we all do that as a collective, then look at how the world will change. Indiana, hi Katya. Do you think it's possible to be in 5D all the time? Like once you've reached it, you there to stay? Or does it more to do with congruence between all the koshas? So, a little kitty just went in my house. So I think it's possible to stay there once it's established. So I really feel that we need to establish our 5D into the 3D. And once we do that as individuals and as a collective, then we'll be able to stay there. But for now, we're dipping in and out because of our own doubts and fears, and also because of the collective. So keep on dipping in, and I believe, and this is my understanding, my thought, I believe that if you stay consistent in that dipping in and out, keep dipping in, keep dipping in, keep dipping in, then you will become established. It might take a week, it might take 3 years, I don't know. Good question. It does have to do with the congruence between all the koshas, because we need to incorporate all of them. What we're really trying to do is bring this like heaven to earth, right? So we need to let our bodies be vessels for the higher self to come through. That's why practicing yoga is really important. Clean the body. That's why meditation and breath work is really important. Clean your lungs, clean your mind, clean your breath. That's why also, creative expression is really important, so that we can just stay in that mode of inspiration. And 5G. So I think that there are certain dark forces at play. I'm not afraid of them, and I don't think you should be either. But there are kind of leeches or contrast, maybe we can just call it contrast. And that these dark forces, which are not scary, they're just part of us, are pushing us into, wasting our energy, into letting our prana, our life force vitality leak. So with the 5G, it's encouraging us to leak our energy more and more and more and more. And I believe that by entering into the 5D, by really focusing and honing in on the 5D, then we overcome that. So it's kind of like when the consciousness raises, the contrast also raises. When we get more powerful, the enemy gets more powerful. This is the beautiful human drama of, being alive. Like, we can't live without contrast, you guys. So there is no evil forces at play. It's just us. It's just the contrast of the reality. Right? So when we lift up, the competition lifts up too. So we just got to keep getting better, because if we just stay the same, we're going to be bored. So just keep growing, keep getting better. That's the thing. It's like we got to enjoy this process of like the drama. We got to enjoy this process of needing to step it up. and then you feel like you got there and you're like, oh, I stepped it up, I did so good. Well, guess what? You need to step up again. And that's just how it is. And that's so fun. And you can see in my face and my voice, I'm so excited about that, because like, fuck, I don't want to stay the same for my whole life. Okay, I hope that really helps. I hope you guys, I'm so happy that so many of you are with me today, and if you have any more questions about this or you want to talk more, I'm so happy to speak about it. And do yoga, come to yoga classes, do meditation, and let's keep raising it up, ladies. Follow your intuition, follow your inspiration. Ask yourself how you want to feel before you schedule your week. Ask yourself, you know, what you want to keep on your schedule and what you want to get rid of, so that you can live you better and better and better. I love you all. Have a beautiful rest of your day and rest of your week. Bye. Katya, can't wait to see you tomorrow on the sound bath. Woo!